All right, welcome everyone. We're about to kick off a three-part journey into the mind of a machine that, let's be honest, is probably sitting in your living room right now. This isn't just about tech, it's a story. We're going to call it Alexa the Awakening. And today, in part one, we're starting right at the beginning, the moment it first opens its digital eyes.
Okay, let's just get it out of the way. You've heard it a million times, right? It's always listening. It's the silent sentinel in the corner of your room, always on, always waiting.
But here's the real question, the one we're here to answer. In all the chaos of a normal home, the TV, the dog barking, people talking, what is it actually hearing before you ever say its name? And the answer? Well, it's pretty fascinating. So our first stop is understanding the device when it's just sitting there. We're calling this stage the sentinel in the room. Before it can wake up, we need to understand how it sleeps. It's in this super low power but super high alert mode, basically guarding the gate to its own brain. And this is the core engineering challenge right here. It has to be deaf enough to ignore petabytes of irrelevant audio, yet sensitive enough to detect a single 1.5-second utterance. Think about that. It has to be an absolute master at ignoring you, at filtering out literally everything, while at the same time listening for one very specific sound. It's a crazy balancing act. So how does it do that? How does it listen without, recording your entire life? The secret is something called a circular buffer. The best way to think about it is like having the world's worst short-term memory. It's a tiny loop of audio, just a few seconds long. It's constantly recording and then instantly recording over itself. Poof, gone. Nothing is ever saved, nothing is ever sent to the cloud until that magic word is spoken. And that, of course, brings us to the key that unlocks the whole thing, the secret wake word. Now, this is absolutely crucial to understand. This first critical step of recognition, it happens at the edge. That's a fancy way of saying it happens entirely on the device itself. No internet required. You could literally unplug your router, say Alexa, and that blue light will still swirl to life. The gatekeeper isn't in the cloud. It's right there in your room. And what is this local gatekeeper? It's a tiny, specialized pattern-matching brain on a chip, a deep neural network. This little thing is a super efficient, low-power genius with exactly one job. It has been trained on one single task, to recognize the sound of its name. That's it. It has no idea what weather means. It doesn't know who Taylor Swift is. Its entire existence is about waiting for that one specific sound. So what is it actually listening for? Here's a cool part. It's not listening for the word Alexa. It's listening for the phonetic signature. It's listening for the building blocks of the word, the sounds. In this case, it's a sequence. A, la, e, k, s, a. Get that sequence of sounds in that order with that rhythm and you've matched the signature. It's like a secret acoustic handshake. Of course, this whole thing is a huge balancing act, and I'm sure you've experienced both sides of this coin. On one hand, you have false rejection. That's when you're practically screaming Alexa at it and it just sits there, ignoring you. Super frustrating, right? But on the other hand, you have false acceptance. That's when some random word on a TV commercial makes the blue light pop on. That's annoying and raises privacy flags. So engineers are constantly tweaking this, trying to find that perfect sweet spot. Okay, so the wake word was heard, the sentinel is now awake. And this is where things get really cool. The device instantly shifts gears from just passively listening to actively forging the perfect signal of your voice. Which brings us to a really common question. How on earth does it hear you in a noisy room? It's the classic cocktail party problem. The TV is blaring, the kids are yelling. How does it pick out your voice from all that chaos? Well, the answer involves some really smart physics and even smarter software. The main trick up its sleeve is a technique called beamforming. And the absolute best way to picture this is to think of it as a flashlight, but for sound. Here's how it works. The device has multiple microphones. When you speak, your voice hits the mic closest to you just fractions of a second before it hits the others. The processor measures that tiny, tiny time difference. Then, it mathematically aligns the signals from all the mics, so your voice lines up perfectly. When it combines them, your voice, the one that's perfectly aligned, gets amplified. And all the other noise coming from other directions, it gets canceled out. You know that little cyan light that points at you on the ring? That's literally showing you where the sound flashlight is pointed. So cool. Okay, but what if the loudest noise in the room is coming from Alexa itself? Like it's blasting music. This is a huge challenge called the bargain problem. The solution is called acoustic echo cancellation. Basically, the device knows exactly what sound it's producing, so it can mathematically subtract its own music from what the microphones are hearing. What's left over? Just your voice. It's like it's wearing noise-canceling headphones for its own noise. All right, so now it has a clean, isolated recording of your voice. But it can't just send that whole audio file up to the cloud. It's way too big and slow. Instead, it does this kind of digital alchemy to create your voice's digital DNA. It slices your voice into tiny 25-millisecond chunks, converts that into the core frequencies, and then, this is the key, it warps those frequencies to match how the human ear actually hears things. Finally, it compacts all that data down into this super efficient little package. So what gets sent to the cloud isn't a recording of your voice. It's a highly compressed mathematical representation of it. And with that, the local part of the journey is over. That little digital packet zips up to the cloud, and now the big brains. We're talking massive data centers take over. Their job? Cracking the human code. Up in the cloud, the job is split between two different AI models, kind of like having an ear and a brain. The first part, the acoustic model, is the ear. It looks at that digital DNA and asks, what does this sound like? It matches the data to the most probable sounds, or phonemes. But sound can be really ambiguous, so it hands its best guesses over to the second part, the language model. This is the brain, and its job is to ask a different question. Does this sequence of words actually make sense? And this is the absolute perfect example of why you need both. Take the phrases recognize speech and recognize speech. Say them out loud. Acoustically, they're almost identical. The ear model might listen and say, hey, it's a 50-50 toss-up here. But the brain, the language model, has been trained on billions of sentences. It knows that in the context of talking to a voice assistant, the phrase recognize speech is thousands, maybe millions of times more likely than recognize speech. It uses context to solve the puzzle the ear couldn't. Okay, success. We have the correct text. But we're not done yet. The computer doesn't know what to do with the words "play songs by the Beatles." They're just characters on a screen to a machine. This brings us to the final, crucial step in understanding, natural language understanding, or NLU. Its job is to figure out your goal, what the system calls your intent, and pull out the key pieces of information, which it calls slots. Let's just look at this simple example right here. You say, Alexa, play songs by the Beatles. The NLU engine looks at that and goes, okay, the user's main goal, their intent, is to play music. I'll label that play music intent. Then it hunts for the variables, the slots. It finds media type is songs and the artist is the Beatles. And just like that, it's transformed our messy, everyday human sentence into a perfectly structured, machine-readable command. Now the software knows exactly what to do. So let's just take a step back and think about what we just saw. This is the mind of the machine beginning to form. We've gone from a device waiting silently to recognizing a secret acoustic key to focusing like a laser on a single voice and finally to deconstructing human language to find its true meaning. It's pretty incredible when you think about it. In the span of a couple of seconds, what started as just a breath of air, a pressure wave moving through the room, has been transformed into a perfect, structured, digital command. The awakening for this single moment is complete. But that's just the end of part one. We figured out how Alexa understands the command. We know how it hears us. But now comes the really mind-bending question. How does she think? Now that it has the command, what happens next? How does it decide what to do, where to look for the answer, and how to respond? That is where the real magic happens. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into next time in part 2 of Alexa, the Awakening.